How many of us are starting to realize we need to step it up and mess it up when it comes to all things recruiting, because that's how you create leverage? I mean, I want you to think about this for a second, those of you watching. Someone recruited me 22 years ago. Someone recruited Rob. If you just understand the power in leverage and residual income, like, you would be talking to everybody about this opportunity, whatever opportunity you're in, whatever company you're a part of, right? This is a generic conversation. Doesn't matter what company you're in. Recruiting is a major key to financial freedom. If you sell a lot of product, that's awesome. The problem is that's like a job, right? Only you can sell so much product. But when you enroll other people, when you start recruiting, you build leverage for yourself. And the truth is, in the early years, I really sucked at this, and I'm sure Rob will share his story as well, but it's worth getting good at. You just have to embrace the suck, embrace the fact that you're probably going to mess it up. You're probably going to have some awkward conversations. You're probably not going to have a lot of people saying yes in the early years, but you can make up in numbers what you lack in skill. So I'm excited to have this conversation, and Rob is one of the best when it comes to simplification, right? Simplifying the recruiting process. And he was a #1 recruiter in his company before he retired and became a network marketing coach, consultant, speaker. I mean, he's always like traveling the world, speaking all over the place. Rob, what's up? If you could start off just sharing, a little bit about you and your background, what makes you an expert when it comes to all things recruiting?
Recruiting was the scariest thing for me by far. The mother of all fears is the fear of judgment. You remove the fear of judgment, you no longer have the fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear of missing out, the fear of rejection. And so once you have that awareness, it helps you to at least understand the root cause of your fears. And it's ironic because it's all about perspective, because when you think about one day when you're on your deathbed, it's going to be laughable to think you were scared to get rejected.
Right.
You were scared to be misjudged. I mean, that's just what people do. So it took a little bit of perspective, and I will admit this, John's a little bit different in the sense of how great he is, and he didn't start that way, but I actually never overcame that fear. I always had it, but I was still willing to do it because I knew the results and I knew what I could gain from it. And so for me, starting out as like the massive soft-spoken introvert with all these limiting beliefs. I mean, I ran a tennis club and they had to call me in several times because they're like, Rob, you're great at teaching lessons, but you're so bad at selling tennis memberships. And that's not as nice as they said it. And I felt all this pressure. So I had all these limiting beliefs. But when I started out, I realized that I could become a pro at selling this one thing. And that was taking a look. And so how I became, and I became the #1 recruiter out of 1 million distributors, built my business in 40 countries. This company was a multi-billion-dollar company. So there was a lot of competition, and my goal wasn't to become the #1. I was just in survival mode, trying to make front-end checks with bonuses and stuff because the residual income wasn't there yet. And so I didn't even realize I was that until the end of the year. I just had my head down and was making it happen. And this is prior to social media. So everything was just old school, right? Everything. And there's still old school greatness that we can do, but that's all it was. And so when he asked the question, like, what makes you qualified? You want to know the real answer? My massive failures that I had. Because no one has massive success without massive failures. Like if there's a recipe, let's say you got your favorite recipe for eating cookies, and there's one ingredient that's the most important ingredient, that's an absolute must and necessary, that's called massive failure. That helped me.
I thought you were going to say chocolate.
Chocolate chips, sugar, right? That is the chocolate chip or sugar, right? That's like both of them combined as you're doing it. And that just gave me perspective though, as I went, is like, okay, this was part of the process. So how can I fail forward faster? How can I have those massive failures, but also learn from them so I can be deliberate in what I'm doing? And so it took the pressure off me because I didn't become a pro and like, I'm trying to close my friends and family right now. And all of a sudden I'm going to be part of the NFL, the No Friends Lex, the No Friends League, right? Now I was so scared of that, but I said, no, I'm going to be a hardcore salesperson on getting them to look. I'm going to create crazy urgency and passion for them to look. And of course, I followed up after that. You have to, the fortunes and the follow-ups. But at the same time, for some, they're going to say yes. Some they're going to say no. Some it's not the right time. Some it's never going to be the right time. But that's what I'm going to become a master at. And that's what I became great at, is at least getting that process started. And then, of course, I improved the follow-ups. I improved handling objections, all of that stuff, and the close and all of it. But I think the tip right there is the most important, because you and I both know, how many people did we talk to? I worked so hard this week. Oh, what'd you do? I listened to 72 podcasts. Oh, wow. I read 6 books. You're just like, mind blown.
Man, you must be exhausted.
Yeah. It's like, what else did you do? Oh, the trainings in the Facebook group. I watched them all 3 times. Oh, how many new invites did you make? Not there yet, but I'm getting prepared. I'm making the plan for the plan of the plan of the plan of the plan. So wait, how many hours did you work? 70 hours. And our association to trading time for money from the job world is, we think we're demanding from the world that we deserve success because we make sacrifices. There's no PV in TV. I watch no TV. And you're like, well, that's cute. Like, that's good. But how many new invites did you make? And so my mentor has made over $30 million in the industry. He's a ghost. He changes his phone number. He's not even on social media. So it's great. He's like one of those legends nobody even knows about.
Right.
He said that working in this business is talking to brand new people. He just simplified the whole thing. He said, if you're not talking to brand new people, you aren't working this business, whether it's your people's people or your people, because the systems are great and it's not that hard to tag someone or voice message someone or plug somebody in, right? We feel warm and fuzzy because we're being the super supportive upline, right? And you should be that, but it's not that hard, right? Be the example. That's the best way you can help them is Ralph Waldo Emerson says, is what you do speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say. So be the example. Don't just say it, be it.
I love that. It's amazing too, because once you get the hang of recruiting, it becomes so fun. People are like, wow, you're still recruiting. You're still out there, popping the question and ATMing people and doing all I'm like, yeah, well, first of all, what else am I going to do all day? Like,
yeah.
Well, what about your team? Like, yeah, we have something called a system, right? We have something called duplication. I know it's like a mystical thing, but that's the key to success is, you create systems and you create tools so that people have something in place, whether you're doing the ATM system or something else, but you have tools and systems in place so that when you bring people on board, it doesn't mean you're not like you said, you're giving them the coaching, the mentorship, the support, but that's not a full-time commitment. I'm not working 40 hours a week just coaching people, right? Like, even for those of you that are like, man, I only have a few hours a week to work my business, but you need to do the intentional work, right? You need to be very proactive in your reach outs. And I think the TikTok, short form video era that we're in right now, and especially over the last couple of years with COVID and, all the things that have been going on, like people got a little lazy, right? They just they could do videos or posts and have people in their inbox asking for information, which is exciting. I love attraction marketing. I love creating curiosity, but you also can't sit back twiddling your thumbs waiting for people to ask you what you do. And a lot of us are also just having product conversations and not even asking people if they're open to taking a look at what we do and how we earn income. And most people would probably admit that they could use an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. So how can we help people get over that insecurity and that fear and then create that consistency and popping the question on a daily basis? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Rob, because I know, like you said, that insecurity, that fear of rejection is probably the biggest reason people don't take action and do the reach outs and ask the question.
So number one is deliberate. We got to be deliberate with our time, deliberate with our actions. Everyone hears the Andres Erickson study, 10,000 hours to become great, but they miss the key word. He says deliberate practice. I mean, I ran a tennis club for years, taught tennis, and there were people that played tennis for 20 years, never got any better because they weren't deliberate. So just being around isn't enough. Not quitting is a good step that should be celebrated, but it's not good enough. It's like you want to climb the Mount Everest of success for network marketing. If you go camp a base and say, I'm never quitting, like that's nice, but that's tough love. It's good. It gives you a shot, but it's not good enough. It's a step in the right direction, but it's not good enough. So first thing is be deliberate with your time. Like if it's that important for you recruiting, I want to see your calendar, because your calendar is your new boss. You don't feel like you have a boss because you're a form of an entrepreneur. Your calendar is your boss. So I want to see your calendar. Like if it's that important to you, are you going to be a firefighter or an architect? Firefighters react to everything. Architects design what it is they want. Now, of course, things happen. Maybe you got the man cold like me, right? Or a kid's sick or something. So if you have to move that recruiting time, you have to instantly reschedule. So if it's like supposed to be Friday at 1 p.m. and you're like, it's not going to happen, great. Instantly reschedule when that's going to be. And maybe it's Saturday. Maybe you're like, I'm not sure I'm going to feel better by Saturday. Great, it's Monday. But you instantly reschedule. So number one is be deliberate. Number two is attention. So attention is the number one currency of marketing. Who are some people dead that you look up to the most? I don't know, John, who are some, for me, like I think Jesus Christ, Martin Luther King, Gandhi. I don't know. Who are some for you that are dead?
I like that.
Famous. Okay. And those are like common, right? Like simple ones. Can you imagine if they wouldn't have gotten any attention? They wouldn't have had the same impact, influence. They wouldn't have changed the world if they wouldn't have had that attention. Right. But then I know there's the people that you can't stand. Like think of the most annoying person on social media. Your association doesn't have to be that. What you have to do is create a reassociation of the key is attention with the right intention. And then you do your best and you F the rest. The F stands for forget, just to be clear. So you do your best and you F the rest. Like people are going to judge you no matter what. Like that's just what people do. Number two, attention. We got deliberate. We got attention. And then here's the third one. That's the big one. And I know you're big on this, John, is blitzes. You could do a social media blitz where you're going on a live blitz, you're going on a real blitz, you're going on a story blitz, you're going on the Money's in Messenger blitz where you send out non-business related conversations. I mean, I've done this. I did this even before I was using social media, where I would send over 300 non-business related messages, not fake chit chat. It's just being a good human being. Be a networker first and a network marketer second. Go on a blitz where it's just new invites and that's all you do is your new invites, whether it's customers or going all out for business builders, or maybe it's specific to an industry, real estate agents. Maybe it's people that are on your chicken list, right? The big, bad, scary people that have been crazy successful. Guess what? Before I reach out to anyone, I create my reason list, the reasons why they should say yes. Because I used to give myself inside my brain why they'd say no. Oh, Sally, she's just way too broke. She'd never be interested. Oh, Johnny, he has too much money. He's not going to be interested because he makes so much money. Oh, we got Sam there. Sam has no time because they're lazy, pieces of awesome human beings. But from a business standpoint, like not, oh, let's reach out to, good old Bobby, but Bobby, is too busy. So it's like too much time, not enough time, too rich, not enough. So I started doing the opposite. Oh, this person's so rich. They understand leverage. They got massive credibility. They get this. Like they're probably getting hit up all the time. Why not just plug people into this? We can take care of them with a system. So I created my reasons why they should say yes before I would have these reach outs. And this would give me a little bit of confidence so that mentally I was going in with a little different passion. I think that all successful people have different versions of blitzes, but for all of you, I would challenge you to have weekly blitzes. Now, that could just be your version of Power Hour. It doesn't have to be an hour. It could be 30 minutes, could be 45 minutes, could be an hour. It could be once a week for an hour. It could be 3 times a week for 30 minutes where you make new invites. But I think I would start there. Then I would do is I would have a monthly one as well, where you go all out nuts for 3 days. Now, some of you are like, Rob, I work. Like, you don't understand whatever all out means to you. Like the most you can do, where you hyper focus, and then you're deciding whether it's new invites, which is the most important one. Maybe you have versions of other stuff. I gave you ideas. And so I would do one that's monthly. And then on top of that, what I would do is I would have even a bigger one that's quarterly. So we have weekly, monthly, quarterly. I'm telling you, if you do that, you will absolutely crush it. So stop fake working. It's tough love because I've done it. John's done it. We've all done it. We're just trying to help you. And start the real work. Working this business is talking to brand new people.